We can't include you in the family photo. It's just for parents, my mom said, posing with my brother's kids. I offered to take the picture, then I uploaded it with the caption that made everyone text me at 2 a.m. The forced cheerfulness of my mother's annual garden party was a special kind of torture. It was a performance, a meticulously staged production of familial bliss, where every coaster was perfectly placed and every smile was a carefully calibrated lie. I stood near the brick patio, nursing a lukewarm iced tea, watching the performance unfold. My brother, Mark, was chasing his 5-year-old daughter, Lily, across the impossibly green lawn, their laughter echoing in the humid July air. His wife, Sarah, was bouncing their infant son, Leo, on her hip, a genuinely tired but happy smile on her face. And my mother, Diana, was the director, orchestrating it all with a magnanimous wave of her hand and a voice that could cut glass. She thrived on these days, on the visual proof of her success as a matriarch. All right, everyone, picture time, she announced, her voice slicing through the gentle hum of conversation. The light is just perfect by the rose bushes. People began to shuffle, a familiar migration pattern I knew all too well. First, the big group shot, cousins, aunts, uncles, all of us arranged by height and family branch. I did my part, slotting in behind my Uncle Robert, offering a smile that felt like it was cracking my face. Then came the smaller configurations, each individual family unit, Mark, Sarah, and their kids, my cousin with her husband and their teenagers. It was a predictable annual ritual. Then came the one I dreaded, the one that was always a fresh, deliberate cut. Okay, now just the grandparents with their grandbabies, my mother chirped, beaming as she pulled Mark and Sarah's children towards her and my father. My father, a man whose primary role in these productions was to stand where he was told, offered a weak, apologetic glance in my direction. I gave him a small, tight-lipped nod that said, "It's fine," even though it felt like swallowing sand. I was 34 years old, unmarried, and childless. In my mother's world, this wasn't just a life choice. It was a personal failure, a stain on her perfect family portrait. After the grandparent photos were done, my mother clapped her hands together, a general leading her troops. Perfect. Now one more. Just the parents with their little ones. Mark, Sarah, over here. She positioned them back in front of the prize-winning roses, a backdrop she'd spent months cultivating for this very purpose. She fussed with Lily's bow, straightened the collar on Mark's shirt. She was a sculptor, and her medium was her family. I watched from the sidelines, my iced tea sweating in my hand. It was an old wound, this feeling of being adjacent to the real family, an accessory rather than a core member. I had learned over the years to build a callus over it, to retreat into the role of the cool, detached aunt. It was a self-preservation tactic. But today, for some reason, the callus felt thin. As they were all arranged, my mother looked around, her eyes scanning the scene. They landed on me. A flicker of something, annoyance, pity, crossed her face before being replaced by that bright, brittle smile. "Oh, sweetie," she called out, her voice loud enough for everyone on the patio to hear. "Could you be a dear and take this one for us? We can't include you in the family photo. It's just for parents." The air went still. The gentle chatter of my relatives died down. Every eye turned to me. It wasn't just a request. It was a declaration, a public marking of my status. You are not one of us. You do not belong in this circle. The humiliation was a physical thing, a hot flush that crawled up my neck and settled in my cheeks. My brother looked uncomfortable, shifting his weight from one foot to the other. Sarah shot me a look of pure, undiluted sympathy, her lips pressed into a thin line. She knew. She saw it. Full story on channel link below.